Okay, this is just a real quick video showing how to use the molding function and to troubleshoot it. I had a customer send me this chair rail molding that he was trying to use, and when he applied it to this drive, what they call it a drive rail, on the software, it didn't give this nice curve to it. It drops down and then has a nice curve to it. It was messing it up. So if we jump over to the toolpath side, this is the molding toolpath icon right here. And I've made this video multiple times, and for some reason this laptop is not picking up my mouse movements. So I'm going to stay right here for a second. We click on this, and basically all this information start from top to bottom. But you select your drive rail, and then you select the cross section of the shape that you want to be driven across that rail, and then you tell it OK and calculate. So that all looks good. But what happened was when he looked at it and had it preview it, he used two different tools, one to hog it out and then one to do the finished profile. It's got this weird step. It's a 45 degree. It's not set up like that with that smooth curve and then the drop down right here. So there's something wrong. So what I did was I went back, and the first thing I did was copy it and see if there was some debris in it or something. So I did Control-C, Control-V, which copies it and pastes it right on top of the original file. And then I used my arrow keys to shift it away. I reapplied it, and it did the exact same thing. So I came into it, I deleted all of the tool paths, and did it again. It did the same thing. And then I said, okay, I know what's happening. I zoomed in, and he's got a bottom to it. So wherever he grabbed this DXF file of the chair rail, it has a bottom piece to it. And what we really need to do is let this sit into the thickness of the material and let it determine the bottom. So what I did was I tapped it, hit the right button, and got into node mode, or you can type in N on your keyboard. And I came on to this corner right here, hit the right button, and cut the vector. And did the same thing on the other corner, hit the right button, cut the vector. That vector then was selected, and I hit the delete key, and it's gone. And so then I went right back into the setup here, just blew through the answers, select the drive rail, select the cross section, which doesn't have a bottom of it, to apply. It all looks good. It's going to fit on there. Tell it to calculate. Reset the preview. And it's noticeably different here in the 2D view. And we'll preview all tool paths. So it's going to clean it with a 1/4 inch tool first, where it can, to hog away the most of the material. And we'll go into those settings in a second. And then it's going to come back in with a smaller tapered ball nose, I'm assuming. I just went with what he had sent. I think. I may have applied some of my own tooling to it, but it doesn't really matter. And there we have what we wanted. There's the shape that we wanted. So we just have to get rid of that bottom to it and let it apply. Now, so when I sweep it, so rather than having a 0.05 50 thousandths underneath it, I'm going to put that above it. So I'm going to do Control X, so I don't have to type it. Anyone that's seen me or done a demo with me, you realize how quickly I try to move and I booger my typing. So we're going to have it with a 0.05 gap above it, but we'll surface that away. So we'll tell it OK. And this is a flat one, so obviously if we used a bigger tool first, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch cutter, surface that, and then come back in with a 1/4 inch cutter to hog this out, and then the final cutter to do the 1/16 inch tapered ball nose I'm looking at, to come on in and clean that. But I'm just going to leave it like this for this time. So we're doing a 1/16 inch, but we're using a 1/4 inch tool to hog out the bulk of it. And we can control the step overs and things like that here. I'm going to make that 80%. So 80% of the bit is going to be exposed on the next, after it does the first pass. The first pass, it has to expose the whole bit to it. And then the second pass, it's going to expose 80% of the bit for the passes that follow after that to flatten the top of that. So we'll tell it OK, calculate, off we go, clear the preview and preview all at high speed. I just want to make sure that now it's going to cut down to the bottom. So it's the same 1/4 inch tool is going in there and hogging the areas that are there because the piece is larger than what we're going to cut. And now it's surfacing it, taking that 50 thousandths off, and then we're coming in with the smaller tool, and there we are. So the issue on these is that you have to have a true cross section without the center line. Typically on a lot of CAD packages this would be inverted 90 degrees, and we would draw from the center line out but not use anything on the center line, and that may be the same logic that is here in VCarve, but we can't have a bottom on it. That's the only issue we had. So by doing that, it knocks it out. He's able to I've already sent him the solution, but I just didn't complete the video where we could hear it. The first time I recorded it in the shop, the fans were on too loud and you couldn't hear it. The second time, it wasn't showing my mouse movements. So thank you very much for watching. This is Eric Schiller with Yeti Tools Southeast, 205-871-6618. I sell and support the Yeti SmartBench, YetiSmartBench.com.